Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn about a new topic. It's about the sentence patterns. So previously we have learned about various types of parts of speech or with categories, and then we learn about phrases and also clauses in English. We also learn about the connectors, coordinate conjunctions, and subordinators. And today we're going to move to the sentence patterns, which is actually main topic or the core of this course. Okay, let's check it out. So today we will learn about the sentence patterns 1 to 5, and the sentence patterns are basically focusing on the patterns used intransitively. So we will focus on the use of intransitive verbs. We will recall it first. So what intransitive verb is? So an intransitive verb is a verb that does meet an object. So it's complete on its own without the object. And there are some abbreviations that we're going to use and we need to be familiar with in this lesson. There are some. The first is S, stands for the subject, and then VI stands for verb intransitive or the intransitive verb, and then VT is the verb transitive, and then DO is the direct object, and IO is the indirect object. Well, the first is sentence pattern 1. So sentence pattern 1, here we deal with the verb pattern 1, because actually when we talk about the sentence pattern, the main focus is on the verb pattern. So verb pattern 1, this is the formula: subject and then be or be verb, and then subject complement or adjunct. So adjunct here is the optional parts of the sentences, meaning that this part of the sentence can be removed, or usually adjuncts are called as adverbials. And the form of the nominal parts of the predicative can be a noun, a pronoun, a possessive, an adverb, an adverbial phrase, a prepositional phrase, an infinitive or an infinitive phrase, or a clause. Right, so there are some rules which belong to the verb pattern 1. I write here VP1, so I'm just going to give two examples for each. The first is the use of subject, be, and noun. For example, this is a book. So this is a book. And then the second one is his father is a lawyer. So a book and a lawyer here are the nouns that comes after the subject and the to be is. And then the second rule is subject and then be plus adjective or adjective phrase. For example, it was dark and the children were so exhausted. Number 3, we have subject plus be plus PP, stands for prepositional phrase. For example, she is in a good health, and then we are not out of danger. So the PP here has the equivalent words in adjective or adverb. For example, in a good health is the same with well. And then out of danger here means safe. So we are not out of danger here means unsafe. We are not unsafe, like that. And the fourth rule is subject and then be and then adverbial adjunct. Your friend is here, or my house is near the station. So here and near the stations are the adverbial adjunct. They show the adverbs of the sentences. And you may wonder about the difference between rule 3 and 4, because if you pay attention to the second sentence of example 4, my house is near the station, actually it's also in the form of a prepositional phrase. So what is the difference between rule number 3 and number 4? The difference is actually in the rule number 3, the prepositional phrase has the equivalent word in adjective or adverb, but in the rule 4, in the example for rule number 4, the prepositional phrase functioning as the adverbial adjunct here is purely an adverbial adjunct showing the location or the prepositional of phrase or the adverb of place. And the fifth rule is the use of there and then be and subject. For example, there was a large crowd. So in this case, there is an inversion. Inversion is the change of position between the subject and the verb. Generally, you have the subject and then verb, right? But in case you have this kind of word like there, so you have to invert the subject and the verb. So the arrangement is becoming there and then verb and then subject. So in this sentence, a large crowd and no doubt about it, or the subject, and was sent is or the be verbs, while there here is like the prepositional phrase showing the location of something. And in the rule number 6, we have there plus be plus subject plus adverbial adjunct. For example, there are 2 windows in these rooms, and there are several hotels in this town. So here you have the noun or the subject followed by an adverbial adjunct. So the prepositional phrase here, the adverbs of place here indicates the adverbial adjunct. Right. Next, number 7, we have subject plus be plus adjective or noun plus to infinitive. For example, it's so nice to sit here with you. So it is a subject, and then is the be verb, and then nice is an adjective followed by a to infinitive phrase, to sit here with you. And then the second one, it's a pity to waste them. It here is the subject, and then is the verb, and then a pity is a noun, and then we have the to infinitive phrase, to waste them. Next one, 8, we have how or what plus adjective or noun plus eat plus to be, but it's optional. You can the parenthesis here indicates that it's an optional rule, so you can use the it plus be rule, or you can omit it, plus to infinitive or to infinitive phrase. For example, how nice it is to sit here with you. You can also say how nice to sit here with you. That's okay. Or what a pity it is to waste them. Or what a pity to waste them. That's also correct. And then the 9th one, we have it plus to be plus adjective plus or noun plus gerund. For example, it's so nice sitting here with you, or it's no good crying over spilled milk. It is the subject, and then is the be verb, and then we have the adjective like so nice here, or adjective phrase, and also noun like no good, and then we have the gerund phrase, sitting here with you and crying over spilled milk. The 10th one, we have the subject plus be plus clause pattern. The trouble is that all the shops are shut, and this is where I work. So the trouble is the subject, and then is the be verb, and we have the clause behind that in the form of noun clause, that all the shops are shut. The same with the second example, this is where I work. So this is the subject, is the be verb, and then we have the noun clause there, where I work, showing the location. And then 11, we have it plus be verb plus noun or adjective plus clause. For example, it was a pity that you couldn't come. So that here is optional. You can also say it was a pity you couldn't come. It is the subject, and then was is the be verb, and then a pity is the noun followed by a clause. Or in the second example, we have it's possible he didn't get your message. It is the subject, and then we have is as the verb. We have also adjective here, possible, followed by a clause. He didn't get your message. The 12th rule is subject plus be verb plus to infinitive or to infinitive phrase. For example, my aim was to help you. So my aim here is the subject, was is the be verb, and then to help you is the to infinitive. And then to know her is to like her. It's similar. The 13th rule is it plus be verb plus adjective or noun plus for a noun or pronoun. Yeah, the P there stands for pronoun, not preposition, plus to infinitive. For example, it was hard for him to live on his small pension. So hard here is an adjective coming after the subject and the be verb, and then followed by for and a pronoun him, and then to infinitive. Okay, the second sentence pattern, or we can say the VP2A for pattern, we have the subject plus verb infinitive. Usually this kind of pattern shows that the verb is complete on its own. For example, when you have the children swim, it completes on its own. It can stand on their own even if they don't have adjunct or adverbial adjunct. So the examples are the sun was shining. So the sun here is the subject, and then was shining here indicates the verb intransitive or intransitive verb. And then that will do. That here is the subject, and then will do here shows the verb intransitive. The second one, we have there again, and then verb intransitive, and then subject. Usually the subject here is indefinite subject, and it requires the subject and the verb to be inverted. Inverted means changing the position. So if generally we have the subject and verb, then in this case we have to reverse the arrangement. So we have there, and then we have the verb, and then we have subject. So I have mentioned it before. For example, there entered a strange little man. So the subject here is indefinite, a strange little man, because it can be any man. And then before that we have the subject, the preposition there, and then the verb entered. It's similar with the second example. We have there comes a time when we feel we must make a protest. So the subject a time blah 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 here is indefinite, and it is started with the preposition there, and then the verb comes. So as you can see here, the subjects and the verbs are inverted because the subjects are indefinite. And rule number 3, we have it plus verb intransitive plus subject. The subject is in the form of clause or to infinitive phrase. For example, it doesn't matter whether we start now or later. Okay, so we have it, and then we have does not matter as the verb intransitive, and the subject is in the form of clause whether we start now or later. And then it can also be in the form of to infinitive phrase, like it only remains to wish you both happiness. So it here is the subject, and then only is the adverb. We have remains as the verb intransitive, and to infinitive to wish you both happiness. The fourth one, we have it plus verb intransitive plus subject. The subject here is in the form of that clause, so that blah blah blah, usually in the form of noun clause. It seemed that the day would never end, for example, or it appears that the plane did not land at Rome. So it is becoming the subject, and then we have the verb. The verb here is like simp, appears, things like that, and then we have the subject in the form of that clause, that blah blah blah. Move to the sentence pattern 3. We have verb pattern 2b. The rule says subject plus verb intransitive plus for. For here is optional, and then adverbial adjunct. So this pattern is generally used with an adverbial adjunct for distance, duration, weight, or price. So probably we have like 2 miles, or durations like for 2 years, and then weight, for example, 2 kilos, and price, for example, $10, and so on and so forth. Before adverbials of distance and duration, for may occur, but they often omit it. Alright, so these are the examples. We have the role subject plus verb intransitive plus for. The for here is optional, and then we have the adverbial adjunct. For example, we walked for 5 miles. So we is the subject, and then walked here is the verb intransitive, and we have for. But for here is in the parentheses, meaning that it is optional. You can use it or you can omit it. 5 miles indicates the distance. So you can say we walked for 5 miles, or we walked 5 miles. And then we have the meeting lasted 2 hours. 2 hours here indicates the duration. And then the flour cost $50. $50 here indicates the price. And then this box weighs 5 kilos. 5 kilos here shows the weights. Okay, and then the sentence pattern 4 or PP2C, the pattern 2C, the formula is subject plus verb intransitive plus adverbial adjunct. For example, my head blew off. Okay, she went upstairs. It shows the directions, yeah, upstairs. And then we didn't go anywhere last week. It shows the adverbs of time. And then the toys were lying all over the floor. It also shows the adverb of place. And then I shall go by train. Okay, it shows the adverb of manner. Alright, so the last sentence pattern is sentence pattern 5 or verb pattern 2D. The formula is subject plus verb intransitive plus adjectives. It uses an adjective as complement or predicative of result. There are some formula for these patterns. The first is subject plus verb intransitive plus adjective. As an example, we have the leaves are turning brown and don't get angry. So here, the leaves is the subject, and then are turning is the verb intransitive, and brown is the adjective. The next one is related to the verbs that shows senses, yeah, the 5 senses, like smells or taste or sound, things like that. So the formula is subject plus verb intransitive plus adjective. For example, the dinner smells good. So the dinner is the subject, and then smells here indicates the verb of sense, and then good is the adjective. The third formula for this pattern is subject plus verb intransitive plus adjective, but it belongs to other verbs than the senses, like she married young or please keep quiet. So here she is the subject, and then married is the verb intransitive, and young here is the adjective. Next, we have subject plus verb intransitive plus adjectival past participle. When we talk about past participles, we talk about the verb 3 form. So this adjective is in the form of verb 3 or the ed form. For example, you looked tired. You sound surprised. So you is the subject, and then looked and sounds are the verb intransitive, and tired and surprised are the adjectival past participle. And the last one, we have subject plus verb intransitive plus noun or reflexive pronoun. For example, he died, a bachelor. He is the subject, died is the verb intransitive, and bachelor here is the noun. Well, so I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for listening to my explanation. So don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and share this video. Hope the material will be useful. I think that's all for today. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.